Students, in lesson 1.11, we are going to be working on our algebra skills, and this lesson is going to be about evaluate numerical expressions. So yesterday in our previous lesson yesterday in class we worked on writing numerical expressions. Today we're going to work on solving them. So our essential question for this class is, in what order must operations be evaluated to find the solution of a problem? And again, when I hear the word operations, I'm just reminding myself that I'm talking about addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So it says connect. Remember that numerical expression is a mathematical phrase that only uses numbers and operation symbols. So yesterday in class we talked about expressions have to have two classifications, or they should have two qualifications. They have to have numbers and operation symbols. It says, to evaluate or find the value of a numerical expression with more than one operation, you must follow the rules called the order of operations. The order of operations tells you in what order you should evaluate an expression. So the order of operations, it lists them on the side, and this is really important, boys and girls. These are the order of operations, and they should be listed in your math notebook. It is extremely important that you're writing these down in your math notebook so that you know how to practice these order of operations. So first it says, perform operations in parentheses. Second, multiply and divide from left to right. Third, add and subtract from left to right. So we notice that multiplication and division are put into a group, and then we also know that addition and subtraction are put in a group. But we know we do these, when we consider them in their group, we do them from the left to the right side of the page. So if we looked at the example, boys and girls, 3 minus 4 plus 2, although subtraction comes first, we do what we read first. So because we read this, that's what we would do first. So we're going to start with the unlock the problem real world. It says a bread recipe calls for 4 cups of wheat flour and 2 cups of rye flour. You'll notice that I'm pulling out key items from the problem so I understand what is required of the problem. Next, it says to triple the recipe, how many cups of flour are needed in all. When we hear the word triple, boys and girls, it's telling us that it's going to be multiplication and that we're going to need to multiply, but it's also telling us our factor in there. So it's multiplying by 3, because if we hear the word 3, we hear the word triple, we can kind of hear that that 3 is inside of the word triple. So it says evaluate 3 times 4 plus 3 times 2 to find the total number of cups. Step 8. Gabriella did not follow the order of operations. So I'm going to make a sad face by Gabriella because this is not what we want to do. So Gabriella does not follow the operations, and we see that she adds first. So when she adds these numbers up, she gets 7. And then we see, secondly, she multiplied. So she did 3 times 7 times 2, and she got 42. So remember, Gabriella got a sad face because she did not follow the order of operations. It says, explain why Gabriella's answer is not correct. Well, boys and girls, she ended up adding before she multiplied. And we know the order of operations says that you multiply and divide from left to right first, then you add. So she should have multiplied first and then added. Now we're going to go on to step B. We are going to do the correct way, and we are going to follow order of operations. So let's write our name. I'm going to write my name, Miss G, and you can write your name there. So order of operations says I need to multiply first from order. So I'm going to multiply my terms first. So 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 times 2 is 6. Notice, I multiplied first. So I'm going to say, first, I multiplied. Then, boys and girls, I added together. And when I added together, I got 18. So I'm going to say number 2, then I added. So, boys and girls, we know that about 18 cups of flour are needed for the recipe if we are going to triple it. Because remember, we're tripling the rye flour and we're tripling the wheat flour, and then we're adding those two together to find how many total cups we're going to need for our recipe. Next, it says evaluate expressions with parentheses. So it says to evaluate an expression with parentheses, follow the order of operations. Perform operations in parentheses first. Multiply from left to right, then add or subtract from left to right. So let's start with our example. It says each batch of granola Lena makes uses 3 cups of oats, so I'm going to circle that, 1 cup of raisins, and 2 cups of nuts. Lena wants to make 5 batches. So what we have to do is, boys and girls, we have to figure out what 1 batch requires, and then we can take that amount and we can figure out how much 5 batches would require. So first we write the expression. In parentheses, boys and girls, you're going to see the recipe for 1 batch. So we see 3 plus 1 plus 2. And because that's in parentheses, we need to solve that first. So remember, this is representing 1 batch inside of the parentheses. If we figure out that, we can figure out how many total batches 5 would need. So when we add those up together, we get 6. And now, because we've done everything inside the parentheses, we can multiply. So 5 times 6 is 30. So Lena will use 30 cups of oats, raisins, and nuts in all. Next, it says quantitatively, we are going to be reasoning in this problem. What if Lena makes 4 batches? Will this change the numerical expression? So we know, boys and girls, in our first numerical expression, we needed to figure out 1 batch to figure out 5 batches. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that same base expression that we wrote in parentheses. So we are considering our 3 cups of oats, our 1 cup of raisins, and our 2 cups of nuts. But now this is for 1 batch. If we want to figure out for 4 batches, we're going to have to multiply by 4 in this case. So what we can say is, let's compare this to what we did on the previous page. On the previous page, our numerical expression looked like the following. So let's make a comparison. This is for the problem for 4 batches. This is the problem for 5 batches. Let's go back to the original question. Will this change the numerical expression? Explain. So boys and girls, we can see that although the basic in parentheses recipe does not change, the quantity changes on the outside. So what we would say is the 4 would replace the 5. And we know that the value of the expression would decrease to 24 because we're making 1 fewer batch. And we notice the difference between 30 and 24 is 6, which is how much is needed for 1 batch. So now we're going to try this. It says write the expression with parentheses to equal the given value. So what we have to do is we have to solve this so that our answer is 141. So it says, first evaluate the expression without parentheses. So if we evaluate this expression without parentheses, we're going to use order of operations. So first I solved this problem without any parentheses. So I did the multiplication first. I did 12 times 8 is 96. Then I brought back down the 6, the plus sign, and the minus 3. And then I did the addition first because it came in order from left to right. So 6 plus 96 was 102. I brought down the subtraction sign and the 3. 102 minus 3 is equal to 99. So to evaluate this expression without parentheses is 99. Now it's telling us to try to place the parentheses in the expression so that the value is 141, which is higher than what we had. So it says think, will the placement of the parentheses increase or decrease the value of the expression? So students, what you'll see is that I put the parentheses around the 6 plus the 12 because I wanted to increase the value of my expression. So I got 18 times 8 minus 3. Next I multiplied because that's next in the order of operations. 18 times 8 was 144. 144 minus 3 would be 141, which in fact was our target number. Next we're going to try another example like this, students. So it says evaluate the expression without the parentheses first. And what we're going to do then is we're going to try to place the parentheses in the expression so the value is 11 the second time around. So first, I'm going to evaluate it without parentheses. So I evaluate in order from left to right, division and multiplication first, because it comes first in the order of operations. So 28 divided by 7 is 4. I rewrite the 5, the plus sign, the 4 that I just got as my quotient, minus the 4. Then I add 5 plus 4 is 9. Then I bring down the subtraction, I bring down the 4. And 9 minus 4 is equal to 5. So without the parentheses, my answer is 5. Now I place my parentheses so I could get to my target number of 11. So I put the parentheses around the 5 plus the 28 and parentheses divided by parentheses 7 minus 4 and parentheses. So first I added 5 plus 28 is 33, brought down the division side. 7 minus 4 is 3, brought down the 3. 33 divided by 3 is 11, which in fact is my target number. So it's really important that you pay attention to the order of operations, and I suggest that you write them down step by step in order in your math notebook and practice them, because it will take you a little while to become familiar with the rules of order of operations and how to solve numerical expressions.